Now is the time to become a VSiN Plus subscriber. It is free, and you won't have to decide what you want to do, pay or cancel, until at least one of the major sports returns. All you have to do is go to vsin.com/subscribe to sign up. It's vsin.com/subscribe. All right, the floor is yours. The very first email we got on this is one that still is a stomach punch loss to you 21 years ago now.
Is it the 98 championship game, NFC championship game?
That's the first, yep.
Oh, God. Jacob sent a tweet in, the second Bengals 49ers Super Bowl. Instead of, he said after pointing out John Candy in the stands, he wished Montana would have thrown an interception. And then takes him down the field, hits Taylor, and good game.
Very good game. Do you remember the Crumroy injury?
Yes, I do.
The leg looked like a fishtail?
Yes. So my list is 3 NFL and also 1 baseball game. The 1998 NFC Championship game, the Vikings had at the time set the record for points scored, and were 15-1. It was Randy Moss's rookie year. They couldn't be stopped. The one game they lost in the regular season, they lost at Tampa, I think by 3. The Vikings didn't punt in the game, if I recall.
I think it was 27-24.
Yeah, but they couldn't stop Mike Allstott. And they were time-consuming, lengthy drives by Tampa. And they win by 3. But the Vikings were laying double digits at home against the 14-2 Atlanta Falcons. And that was the Gary Anderson game, who had missed a kick the entire year. And he missed a chippy that would have put him up 10. The crowd is chanting Super Bowl late in the game. Super Bowl, Super Bowl. Atlanta gets a stop. They force a field goal. He misses it, and Chris Chandler takes him down the field, and they win in overtime. And we were Denver, Minnesota would have been an unbelievable Super Bowl. Would have been 15-1 against 14-2.
Well, a couple stories on that. Remember Paul Charchian, who comes on with us during the football season every single week to talk fantasy football. He was at the game. He told that story, and he said you could you could hear a pin drop when you walked out of the Metrodome.
And they had all the T-shirts outside,
completely silent, like walking out of a funeral.
Well, the newspaper, we're going to the Super Bowl. And, better get rid of those.
One more. So I did a show here in Las Vegas for a few years with Mike Pritchard. He played in the league for 10 years. He played at Colorado when they won a national title with Alfred Williams. That year in 1999, Alfred Williams was on the D-line for the Denver Broncos. After they won the AFC title game, they watched that game that day. They watched the NFC game. And when Atlanta pulled it off, they started celebrating, saying, that's it, we won the Super Bowl. They were afraid of the Vikings. They knew what that offense was made of.
Yep.
They knew how difficult that game would have been.
Nightmare matchup. Great offensive line.
For any team ever.
Robert Smith, Chris Carter, Randy Moss, Cunningham.
Yep. Didn't they have David Palmer, who was underrated that year, first down every time he touched the ball?
Brian Billick was the offensive coordinator. He was running the Wildcat then. He would bring Palmer, and they run the Wildcat on 3rd and short. 2008 Super Bowl. I wanted to see the Patriots go undefeated. I didn't like the Giants. I'm not an Eli Manning fan.
That's on my list.
More importantly, I can't stand the 72 Dolphins, and that would have shut them up forever. And no more popping the champagne and their stupid phone calls. That would have been great. I think they only beat 2 teams with a winning record that year, the 72 Dolphins. I really wanted to see the Patriots, and that was another juggernaut. What they have in common? Randy Moss. As he set the record along with Brady, I wanted to see the Patriots run the table, and baffling game. All the pressure they got on Brady. They just played in New York, and they lit him up.
Moss went nuts.
And then the Tyree catch, they don't call holding in the grasp. They got Manning. I can't believe they lost that game. That was another one. And also, I find this one interesting. The 2007 Super Bowl. What if the Colts don't beat the Bears in the rain? Number one, Rex Grossman would have a ring. How funny would that be? Rex Grossman would have a ring. And then all that time, can you imagine what would have been? Peyton Manning still would have had a ring.
Until the very end.
Until the very end at that time. I mean, the amount of abuse that guy would take and his legacy and what it would have been. Because remember, though, until the final year in Denver, he entered those playoffs with a losing playoff record. He has the record for one and dones in the playoffs. All those getting beat in the divisional round, 14-2, 1 seed, 2 seed, whatever.
So good in the regular season, could never live up to it in the postseason.
He was 25 of 38 with 1 touchdown and 1 interception. He wasn't great.
No, go look at the playoff run. I think he had one game with a passer rating over 80 in the playoffs.
Defense carried him.
And by the way, Kelly, can you look that up too? Sorry to throw this all. The game against Jacksonville late in the season, I think Maurice Jones-Drew was on the team. They allowed more than 300 yards on the ground.
Yep.
Remember, they never had Bob Sanders.
Right.
He comes back. All of a sudden, teams couldn't do anything on offense against the defense.
Yep. They beat the Ravens in the second round, and they didn't score a touchdown.
What were you thinking when Devin Hester took that one to the house to open it up?
Sure. The Bears were sitting pretty. And then the Bartman game, which I'm with you. I really, since you get into media and you become a sports bettor, you remove yourself. You don't become a fan anymore. You don't care.
100%.
Your fan is who you have money on. That's who you're rooting for. But I wasn't really hardcore in the business back then. I love the Cubs. I used to watch every game on WGN with my dad, and we loved Harry Carey, and I would go to Wrigley Field every summer. And it's still a cool moment when they beat the Indians. But I don't know if they win the World Series. But if Bartman doesn't happen, Alou makes the catch, the Cubs are going to go to the World Series. Pryor was untouchable.
I love that team.
They were going to win that game. They were 5 outs away. There would have been a man on first with 2 outs. Alou's going to catch the ball. Mm-hmm. They're going to win the game, and they're going to go to the World Series. Mm-hmm. And who knows what would have happened against the Yankees. But that would have been a special moment for me.
And you had Mark Pryor and Kerry Wood.
Yeah.
And how that would have played out with those 2 arms. They were like must-watch television both times they took them out. Email ftm@vsin.com. Kevin Cobb says, it still hurts. The Titans-Rams Super Bowl.
Bad game.
Horrible game.
Great finish. Boring game. Great finish.
Was it 16-0 at half or at one point? Titans came back to make it close. Tied it actually at one point. This is from Douglas. 1992 NLCS. I was 12. Had tickets on to the World Series in Pittsburgh with my grandpa. I was devastated. Tears. 92 NLCS. That must have been Pirates Braves. Was it Sid Bream?
Sid Bream. Barry Bonds with the hot dog arm.
Uh-huh.
How Barry Bonds couldn't throw out Sid Bream? Well, that NLCS. Was it NLCS, he said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then at that point, Bonds had been, until he went to San Francisco, Bonds was an automatic out in the playoffs in Pittsburgh.
2012 AFC title game from Mike. 1-2 gut punch to the Ravens fans. Lee Evans drop, next play Cundiff, wide left, 30 out.
Yes.
Possible start to back-to-back, and one less title for the Patriots.
Oh, there's so many. How about all the close calls with every New England Super Bowl? You can throw in that AFC title game, with the exception of the Rams. You know, they had the nice drive that Gostkowski makes the field goal, and they put them up double digits. Mm-hmm. But the Seattle finish, they have the ball. Brady sets the record. They have the ball. Look like they're going to in position to win the Super Bowl, and then the fumble. But the Patriots don't punt and lose a Super Bowl. The Vinatieri finishes. The one both against the Giants, Manningham and Tyree. Mm-hmm. Tom could have 9 rings. He could have 1 or 2. It's crazy.
That part is true.
One play here, one play there.
You bring up the Carolina game?
Yeah.
How weird that was?
Yeah, Casey kicks the ball out of bounds.
Right. Think about all that had to happen.
Terry with the long field goal, yeah.
They come down, the Panthers come down tied up. Casey on the kickoff, out of bounds, Patriots ball, 40-yard line. How do you do that?
Good one with Lee Evans. What did Nance say? Good. Oh no, is it Chippy? He hooks it.
Yep.
He hooks it. He's like discombobulated on the sidelines. He wasn't ready. Didn't have his helmet on. It's like, Cundiff, get it together. Mm-hmm. They run him onto the field. He hooks it.
Yep. Gambling Twitter. Another one from Jacob here. The Super Bowl, Malcolm Butler INT at the goal line. Yep.
Man, what if they just give it to
give it to Lynch?
Yep.
That's all you got to do.
Yep. Although there was the curse catch before that, though. Another one.
It was awesome.
He's on his back and he catches the ball.
Well, the Falcons game against the Patriots, down 28-3.
Yes,
the Edelman catch that he had in that game.
Yes, the Edelman catch.
This is from Tom. How about this? This might have been the best Super Bowl of all time. The game between Arizona and Pittsburgh.
Very good.
He had Arizona under first half until James Harrison.
Oh, no.
Well, they're ready to go in. They're at the goal line.
Right.
Warner goes shotgun, tosses it over. Harrison with the pick all the way to the end zone. He houses it.
That game had everything.
my
Defensive
God.
touchdown, safety.
The big plays in that game.
The Holmes catch.
The fits across the middle on the fade. He takes it to the house.
Yes.
And they were they the 6 seed or the 4 seed? I think that year in the NFC title game was the 4 versus the 6. They played the Eagles. Arizona did. I think they might have been the 4. And they came out.
I believe, didn't they host Atlanta and then they went to Carolina?
No, that was a different year.
That was a different year?
That was when Carson Palmer and company got blown out at Carolina and the Panthers went to the Super Bowl.
No. That was it was the Jake Delhomme game.
Okay.
And then they hosted Philly because Philly went to New York and beat Eli Manning.
Sorry.
Like the Giants were the 1.
Yep.
Yeah, the Jake Delhomme game. I think he had 5 interceptions in a playoff.
That's right.
4 or 5, yeah. Another good, very good tweets and emails.
And I'll go one more. The most devastating, one of the most, I don't care if you're a fan of the team or not, especially, but if you had money on the Packers against the Seahawks, right, in the NFC title game, to win the game outright on the money line, or maybe if you had a future bet on the Packers to win it all that year.
You are adamant Russell Wilson had a concussion.
He
looks like he's concussed. He's throwing all these interceptions. McCarthy's kicking field goals from the 1-yard line. He's kicking field goals 4th and inches.
Mm-hmm.
The onside kick, they're throwing it up for grabs, a 2-point, and then Rodgers takes him down the field and ties the game with the field goal.
Yep.
And then, how do you blow that game? Well, McCarthy.
Yep.
Excellent. Good one.
Yep. From KII19 on Twitter. This is going back a ways. 1989, Seton Hall lost to Michigan. That was a great national title game. Willie's winners. Duke, Maryland. Duke came back from down 10 or so in 50 seconds.
Oh, yes.
That game was on TV. We had a going-away party the weekend it was moving to Las Vegas. Maryland's up by 10. Final minute, they blow the game. Jay Williams was unreal. You can keep the feedback coming. It's FTM at VSiN.com, FTM at VSiN.com, on Twitter, at Mitch Moss Radio, at Pauly Howard, at VSiN Live. A lot to get into with David Thorpe. TrueHoop.com coming up next here on the program. So now Clay Bennett, owner, OKC, this last-ditch effort. Come on, Adam Silver. We need all 30 teams. It's going to hurt too much. Does David Thorpe like that idea? Coming up next.